This is the Noon Inn. This is restored to 1850, built in 1836. This is where John Noon, his wife Mary Ann, his 1-year-old son Anthony, and his sister-in-law Elizabeth lived and operated. This is a bar, ballroom, inn, and residence, all operating at the same time. Currently, the ballroom, inn, and residence is closed due to the stairway being too narrow for most people to safely go up and down. But the parlor room and the bar are open. The drinking ages back then were a little bit different due to how fast children grew up or were required to grow up. Due to by the age of 14, you're pretty much done with school, and you're pretty much running the farm at your family farm. So you were old enough to run a farm, so you were old enough to drink. That doesn't mean you didn't drink under the age of 14. Cider is the most popular drink at the time, and children would often drink it, and after about a year it would ferment by itself and become alcoholic, so kids could bring that to school in the 1800s. So everyone had a little bit of a drink.
Have they been able to open the bar this now, or is that still
Currently
closed?
you are able to purchase water for $2 and candy sticks 2 for $1.
Ah, right. Could I ask your name, please?
I am Matt.
Hello, Matt. Like I said, you and I have met before, and I wanted to just see what the opening weekend was going to be like.
This is it.
Thanks ever so much, Matt.
No problem. I'm going to say it's just 54 people.
So we got about 54. Anybody do any touring, or it was all individual house to house?
This is how we normally operate, just on a smaller scale to accommodate
How many of the buildings are open this weekend?
about 8.
About
7 or
8. Okay. And each one has a individual who...
Most of them will have an individual in front of them, except for Dr. Searing, the schoolhouse, the blacksmith shop. Those will be just on a gate so that people can see them. But you can ask people questions about those buildings.
So there won't be a working blacksmith or a working hat maker at the moment?
It's impossible to do blacksmithing in this current environment because it's too small. Regulations require us to have an exit and entrance. The blacksmith shop just has an entrance, so we can't. Water.
Water, okay? What kind of water do you use?
Streams, rivers, wells.
And as you can see again, access to the upper level currently is closed off.
Yeah, depending on the bottom.
I don't think any of this can be swallowed, but given the circumstances, it's available because this is the tap room, the bar. And there is water available for sale. The traditional candy sticks and pretzels, unfortunately, and root beer, not at the moment.
This house comes from the hamlet of East Norwich, and it's the youngest house here, built in 1866 by Mr. John Layton. Lived here with his wife Mary Ann and their 13-year-old son William Augustus, who becomes a Methodist minister here on Long Island. And it's a middle-class household. So the building is both their home and it's also their business, which is the general store. That's behind it. Okay. And in the 1860s, having a general store where the goods are displayed, have them organized by department to encourage people to shop and buy things that they didn't necessarily come to buy was a new concept. Something that was starting in the cities, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, in the 1850s. Being the opening weekend, this is like a test run for us of how it operates, and so far it's going very smoothly. You know, we greet the visitors out here. I would talk to them, as I'm doing right now, outside, tell them what they're going to see inside, and they then have a self-tour inside the building.
You're standing on a platform that's hinged. Can you tell me why?
Yes, this would be lifted. There are stone steps that go down into the basement, so when Mr. Layton would get his shipments, he would be able to store them downstairs, bring them down without having to go through the store. There's also a trap door in the ceiling of the store
Ah, yes.
where he has a block and tackle, and he'd be able to lift up heavy barrels, crates up there. So there were multiple ways of getting into his storage areas. So the upstairs, the area over the store was storage.
Even though it has windows.
Correct. The area over the house part is where the bedrooms were.
Ah, a little bit of something I learned new for a change. Thanks again, I appreciate it. As you can see, some of the house is more restricted under the COVID guidelines. And this area normally would be full of visitors, and there would be candy and other things that they could purchase. I guess you would call it penny candy, I'm not sure. But there would be demonstrations and explanations of how a general store worked. As you can see here, there are some brooms. Often in the village, there'd be a demonstration on how these brooms would be made.